Hola, buenos días a todos. Mi nombre es Rocío Castrillo, soy representante y punto nacional de contacto de Reto 6 dentro de Horizonte 2020. Estoy aquí con Mar Mesas, compañera punto nacional de contacto también en el Reto Social 6, Europa en un mundo cambiante, sociedades inclusivas, innovadoras y reflexivas. Y estamos hoy aquí para desarrollar un webinario específico sobre la convocatoria de migración que se desarrolla dentro del programa de trabajo 2018-2020 de Horizonte 2020, de nuestro programa. Tenemos la suerte de contar con la ponente de la comisión, Rafaela Greco Toneguchi, que nos va a acompañar para una presentación en profundidad sobre los topics 2018-2019 de esta convocatoria. Y antes de ello, sí me gustaría hacer una pequeña introducción, sobre todo en relación con los servicios de los puntos nacionales de contacto, para sobre todo las personas, que me imagino la mayoría de vosotros, que estáis pensando en preparar una propuesta dentro de estas convocatorias. Tanto para socios como para coordinadores, sabéis, hacemos sesiones informativas que hemos hecho en 4 ciudades distintas de España, hacemos webinarios, tenemos organizados 3 de ellos para distintas convocatorias con la ayuda y con la colaboración de las personas, los responsables de la Comisión Europea en cada uno de estos programas. Hacemos, pues resolución de consultas para todos y específicamente para coordinadores que, como sabemos, tienen el mayor peso en la preparación y en la escritura de la propuesta. Hacemos tanto el asesoramiento sobre el encaje de la idea de proyecto, el encaje específico para cada una de las convocatorias abiertas y la lectura de propuestas. Normalmente os solicitamos que nos mandéis la versión que queráis que leamos hasta 3 semanas antes de la fecha de cierre, para asegurar en cualquier caso que nosotros tenemos tiempo y que recibís los comentarios no el último día, cuando ya no tienen ningún valor, sino con tiempo suficiente para poder ser incorporados en una propuesta sólida. También hacemos específicamente talleres de preparación y escritura de propuestas, yendo parte por parte dentro de lo que es la plantilla de preparación de propuestas. En principio todavía no tenemos organizados, no tenemos las fechas, porque lo que intentamos es que se acerquen algo más al cierre de convocatoria. Esperamos tenerlos durante el mes de febrero, 2 de ellos. Para socios que no tienen, digamos, tanto peso en la escritura de propuestas y cuyo normalmente problema fundamental es sumarse a un consorcio, sobre todo para los socios que empiezan por primera vez a trabajar en Horizonte 2020, pues ofrecemos las herramientas de búsqueda de socios a través de la red de puntos nacionales de contacto Net for Society, de la que somos socios, y bueno, en caso de, si hay posibilidad de los asesoramientos sobre el perfil para ser publicado en las redes. Somos 3 compañeras, punto nacional de contacto, contestamos las 3 a este mismo correo, sociedades.h2020@oficinaeuropea.es, que es normalmente la forma más ágil de cogernos, a pesar de que a través de nuestra página web es horizonte2020.es, también podéis encontrar nuestros números de teléfono en caso de que necesitéis una ayuda puntual o más urgente. Los topics, las convocatorias específicas que cubre el webinario de hoy, las tenéis en pantalla. Son básicamente todas las convocatorias que tenemos dentro de la convocatoria de migración para los años 2018-2019. No voy a entrar en ellas, ya que tenemos la suerte de contar hoy, como os mencionaba, con la ponente de la comisión que hablará de ellos en detalle. Sí, para que tengáis información de referencia, hubo un evento en Bruselas que ya ha pasado, fue el 14 de noviembre de 2017, que fue una sesión informativa, por un lado, y un brokerage event para precisamente el apoyo en la búsqueda de socios en estas convocatorias. Tenéis tanto el vídeo disponible para escuchar las presentaciones que allí se hicieron, como la página en la que se subieron todos los perfiles de los actores interesados en preparar propuestas. Aunque ya, porque ha pasado la fecha, es imposible estar allí físicamente, todos los perfiles siguen disponibles y bueno, pues si encontrarais alguno dentro de las áreas de interés en las áreas en las que queréis presentar una propuesta, aún así todavía estamos en plazo por si quisierais contactarles de manera directa pues con el objetivo de preparar una propuesta. También sobre el área de migración, que es un área compleja porque tiene un contexto político bastante amplio. Dentro de la red de puntos nacionales de contacto hemos preparado una ficha informativa sobre las políticas de migración, a la que podéis acceder a través de este link. Como os mencionaba, las actividades que ya hemos venido realizando son las sesiones informativas. Os he dicho 4 ciudades, pero en realidad fueron 5, en Madrid, Barcelona, Bilbao, Valencia y Sevilla. La de Madrid fue retransmitida en web streaming y la grabación también podéis acceder a ella a través de nuestro canal de YouTube. Los webinarios con representantes de la Comisión Europea tuvimos la semana pasada un webinario específico sobre el focus area de Digital Transformations, lo que veréis más relacionado con la parte más TIC dentro de nuestro programa. El call de migration, que es lo que tenemos hoy con Rafaela, y un tercer webinario sobre la convocatoria de governance, la tercera convocatoria del programa de Reto 6. Teníamos fijada la fecha de 11 de enero, pero por motivos de agenda es muy posible que tengamos que cambiarlo. Por supuesto, informaremos a todos los que están registrados e intentaremos buscar una fecha lo más cercana posible para que todos los asistentes pues, puedan acceder. En cualquier caso, sobre todo el caso de que hemos tenido que cambiar la fecha, lo que hacemos es grabar los webinarios, por lo que si alguna persona finalmente no pudiera asistir al webinario pueda acceder a la información posteriormente. Yo ya unas mínimas pinceladas de despedida. Nosotros publicamos toda esta información a través del portal único de información a nivel español para Horizonte 2020, que es horizonte2020.es. Lo gestionamos tanto desde la Oficina Europea como desde el CEDETI, que sabéis tenéis puntos nacionales de contacto en ambas instituciones, y en ningún caso pretende duplicar la información que podéis encontrar en el portal de participante, que es específicamente sobre las convocatorias, sino que pretende incluir toda la información que desarrollamos, las actividades de promoción que desarrollamos los puntos nacionales de contacto y los representantes, así como eventos de interés que creemos pueden estar relacionados con la convocatoria. Y, por supuesto, el Twitter, que es @horizonte2020.es. Y yo con esto me despido, dando paso a la ponente principal, Rafaela Greco. Rafaela, are you there?
Yes, I am.
I'm opening your presentation. So it's already here. Rafaela, thank you very much for being with us today to present the open calls for migration. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Rocio, and thank you very much all of you who are on the other side of the screens and of the telephones. I am sorry I cannot be there and we cannot be together, but we will do our best to make it a little bit warmer than it seems. I'm gonna speak in English, but I do understand Spanish, so if you want to also ask questions in Spanish, it is absolutely fine for me. And I will try to speak slowly so that the connection doesn't present any problem. We can quickly go to slide number 2 and 3, where I try to replace the call migration in the credo that is Societal Challenge 6, and Societal Challenge 6 turn is one of the 7 challenges, as you know, of this big monster that is Horizon 2020. This is really to put it into context and to better understand what Rocio was saying when mentioning the political dimension of this call migration and overall of the Societal Challenge 6. If you have in front of you the slide number 3 with the 3 pillars, you can very visually and easily see that whereas Pillar 1 for excellence in science is really bottom-up research for the urgent need and pressing needs of the research community, Pillar 3 tries to tackle societal and political urgencies, political needs, political short to medium term important issues for which we really need the contribution of the research community, and for which we really need to orient the research community. And this is why we call it framework program. It is programmed research, and this is why we really call you to help us understand and give responses, give recommendations to the political domain, to the political sphere at European, but also at member states level. And this is why you will hear me saying this again and again, presenting the different topics. It is indeed a societal challenge and a call that tries to take advantage of all the disciplines from the humanities and from the social sciences to respond to contemporary issues, to contemporary challenges. So if you feel them very much contemporary, don't forget that all the baggage that comes from the humanities and from all social sciences, they are all called in, but in this specific way, in this programmed way to try and support the political domain with answers, with findings, with ideas, alternative scenarios, projections, etc., etc. So we quickly now go to slide number 5, where you see it is a quick overview on what we have done. What matters to me here is to let you see the structure of this work programs of Societal Challenge 6 for this last 7 years. So you've had the first program with more calls. We had 5 calls and less money. And then we find each other in 2018, 2017, almost 18, looking at 20, with less calls. From 3, we have gone to 4 in 16, 17, and now 3 calls in 18, 20, and more money. This is really linked to what we've said before, to the need to look at specific and very pressing challenges and issues that need your contribution as research community, our contribution all together as research services to serve and to challenge as well the political arena and the political debate. Next slide also presents this, looking at no more the budget, but the number of calls, as we have just said. And this also reflects on this last 3 annual work program, 18, 19, 20, same idea. The budget is increasing, not because we think that in 18 you need less budget for research than in 20, but exactly because we want to increase momentum. And as we will see for migration, but I think that all of you have already read the call and probably read also the other 2 big tickets of our work program. You have seen that all the calls, all the topics, they are linked one to the other. It is a very circular call altogether, and things really make sense in a cumulative term. So less calls, more money overall for each call, increasingly from 18 to 20, and as you know well, more money per topic. This means that really responding to a request that comes from the research community, very well channeled by your national contact points, we will have the possibility to finance more projects per topic, and we will have the possibility to finance huger projects with an average total per project of 3 million. Then we will see it in details topic per topic, but in principle we are expecting to finance projects of a 3 million size, 2-3 projects per, even 4 per topic. So we can now go to the next slide, where we have a little bit of an overview of the 3 main drivers, the 3 main lines along which we have structured the call for the 1820, and we will do a little bit of back and forth. If you look at the next slide now, this very colored one, this blue and green one, you will see that the idea of these 3 drivers really come from debate with you, from the research with the research community, with researchers that work in projects that are already running and that are really proving where there is more need for research, where we do have enough for the time being. And this also comes from the many events where you very kindly invited us to attend, to discuss with you, to engage in forward-looking and forecasting exercises, from analysis that we have made along the years. But really the message I would like to pass you is that thank you. This exchange between commission and projects, and also project funded by other donors or by other branches of the commission, this is really essential to get to the next slide and make a little bit fun of these very many inputs that we have tried to condensate in order to give you back a work program that is round, that is really this ball, this circular structure we were saying, that makes sense overall. Look at our society, its transformations, its challenges, its responses to crisis, to technological advancement, from a point of view of governance, from a point of view of democracy, from a point of view of international mobility, from a point of view of cultural values, etc., etc., etc. And with this in the back mind, don't worry, you will have the slides, so you don't need to read all the very tiny information included here, but be sure that they really come from our discussions with you. You will find there, maybe with other wordings, what you have been discussing in your previous project, you and all the colleagues from other European countries. So with no further delay on the generals, we can now go directly to the call on migration. That is one of the three main drivers, as we have seen. Indeed, there is a reason for it, that is the political momentum, the huge request by Commission President Juncker in 2014 and 16 to all of us, services of the Commission, institution, research communities, practitioners, international organization, all of us invest more energies to really bridge the gaps and to overcome the fragmentation in information and then in action vis-a-vis migration. And I would like to stress with you now, and it really counts for the whole call, when you say migration, we're not talking, or not just talking about integration. We're really looking at migration as a cycle. All the stages of it, all the etape, all the different moments of it and processes of it, they are all included in this call. And this is why international cooperation is extremely welcome in all topics. In particular, we will see there are some where international cooperation is encouraged, and one where international cooperation is a binding criterion for the eligibility of projects. But overall, we are really looking at migration in a global and international perspective. Even when we do talk about protection, even when we do talk about integration, looking at how others are doing and how we can compare our system among European society, but also beyond European society, is extremely important, and we do really encourage this. Indeed, this must be done within the rules of Horizon 2020. Therefore, you know better than me that there are countries that are automatically eligible for funding in case you wish to have some partners from outside Europe, others that are upon scrutiny of the external evaluators and ultimately of the Commission. But in terms of participation, every country is welcome, every organization is welcome, and international cooperation is really encouraged. Going to next slide, you will understand it even better, because you see that first and foremost, we place migration within the remit of the Sustainable Development Goals and the Agenda 2030, because we really think that the right way of doing it, and we think it because of the exchanges with you, is to do it in the perspective of the commitment we have on a global level, which doesn't mean that we don't want to look at the local level, at the regional level, at the national level, at the macro-regional level. On the contrary, we really want, and we hope that we rightly tried through this call to push you towards this direction, to link the very local experiences. We will see it when we talk about governance, when we talk about projection, the very local experiences with the bigger picture of the national level, the European level, the regional level, the Euro-Mediterranean level, the global level. So this is really the invitation that we are trying to make. And then, as said, bear in mind always that whereas societal challenges are looked at in a contemporary way, indeed they are challenges that they are posed to our societies today, societies and society overall today, but indeed in order to give meaningful advices, responses, and recommendations to the political debate, to the political arena, to our colleagues, the policy DGs that are then drafting pieces of legislation or communication, all the disciplines, the philosophy, history, all the social sciences, applied and theoretical social sciences, they are all very much invited to contribute. I would now like to start with the first topic. I am a bit sorry to talk by myself and cannot see your faces and understand if this is all clear, but please do ask any question that you feel like it is needed, and any point that you do need that it's clarified. The topic number one is a very broad and very internationally oriented topic. Please do consider it not only from an European perspective, meaning migration flows towards Europe, how many people will arrive in the next 3 years. This can be one of the angles, but is not certainly the soul of this topic. This topic is really an attempt to go in that global direction we have committed to when adhering to the request of the UN Assembly 2016 and to the launching of the Global Compact on Migration and Refugees. Really the idea that in order to proceed with governance structures, and we will see it in the next topic, we first need a better understanding. And this is what Rocio was saying, the efforts that your NCPs have tried to make by compiling a list of main policy documents, main reference policy documents on migration. You will see that in all of them, if you don't know them and you want to have a read now, you will see it. Research, data, bridging gaps, overcoming fragmentations. These are jargon sentences that come back again and again and again, and they are also the outcome of a EU ministerial conference held last May in Malta under the auspices of the Maltese presidency of the Council, where the Euro-Mediterranean group, the Euro-Mediterranean ministers and directors of research ministry, they said research beyond Europe in cooperation with third countries, in particular in the Euro-Mediterranean area, but not only, is really essential to go about the challenges that then the political level needs to tackle. So this topic that is launched in 19, for which you have plenty of time to start thinking and engaging with national statistic institutes, with the European statistical institutes, and all the stakeholders that might provide social science and humanities with a more technical and analytic perspective. So you have plenty of time to go in this direction. A minor suggestion on how to read each topic, and in particular these slides. As you've seen, I didn't put scope, challenge, expected impact. Why? Why did I give so much emphasis to the impact? Because the Commission is obsessed with it. This is really the new obsession of the Commission, is the research needs to have an impact. On what? On the political level, first of all, on public opinion, on the community at large. Therefore, you find in the box on your left hand side the main suggestions, the main hint on impact. And when you start reading the calls, please start from the impact. Make sure that whatever proposal you make, that whatever project you build, it really responds to what is asked in terms of impact. I know that thinking of the excellence part, that thinking of the scientific part is more challenging. It's really what you're used on doing, and probably myself as well. But We have to force ourselves and really start the other way around, starting from the impact and building our proposals, your ideas around what they can reach in terms of impact. And on the upside of the box, you see that this is a RIA, so a research action, and we expect to fund 3 projects. This is the first 3 projects, 3 million each on average. What does it mean on average? That the overall budget for this topic is 9 million. So we would like to fund 3 topics. Indeed, you can ask for less than 3 million and even a little bit more of 3 million if this is best for your proposal. But do take into account that if 2 proposals, they are exactly ranked the same way, receiving for the 3 elements of judgment that the evaluator, 3 criterion of evaluation that the evaluators will assess: the excellence, the management, the impact, and all the sub-criteria, including the participation of practitioners, SMEs, gender balance within the consortium, and in the analytical part, in the research part. If all the elements are exactly the same, the project with a lower budget will be considered first. Therefore, the suggestion is try to stick at the maximum to the average budget suggested. We can now pass to the second project, so the second topic, sorry. And as said, there is a deep dialogue between these 2 topics, because one looks at how do we fragment, how do we overcome fragmentation in data, how can we better project, how can we better forecast, how can we better involve actors that are working on this, for what? For a better migration governance. And here it comes, the project on governance, that is obviously embedded, very well enshrined in the commitment to comply with the SDGs, and in particular 10 and 11 and the Agenda 2030. We know very well that the discussion on compacts is ongoing, and that no project that will be funded under this topic will be already up and running and producing results for when the compacts will be compacts, and whatever other institutional arrangement, including the partnership framework agreement that the European Union and the Commission is signing with third countries, and the plenty of other existing statements, strategies, etc., etc. And no project will be up and running and producing results by then. But we are very conscious that first, this is not an exercise that will end tomorrow. The compacts or whatever other existing or future institutional arrangements will not end tomorrow. On the contrary, we know well that there will be quite a lot of deal and efforts in fine-tuning, in revising, in rethinking, and we really want to contribute to this mid to long-term standing process with this project, with this topic. Again, we expect to fund 3 projects, 3 million each. And here, I really would like to stress that even though cooperation with third countries is not essential for the eligibility of a consortium that will present a proposal, here it's really crucial that we look at migration governance in a much broader perspective than considering the integration of third country nationals in EU societies. We really need to think broader, to look broader, and to not only consider governance as something that is imposed from the top as a national or even supranational mechanism. We would really very much like to see you going to find experiences of grassroots, bottom-up, citizen initiatives, association-led initiatives. This sentence that you read in the text of this topic comes really from you, and Rocio is my witness in this. Really comes from scholars, many of those are Spanish, but not only Spanish, that brought to our attention the fact that plenty of local level or medium level governance initiatives are brought up from the citizenship, from non-state organization and institution. Therefore, we would really like, as said at the beginning, to see this dialogue between the micro and the macro. and the national, the European, and the international level. We can now go to the third topic. And as you have certainly felt by reading the call and by listening to me until now, there is this attempt to start very big. So the projection, the governance, the overall picture, and then to go to a more internal dimension. And when I say internal, I don't necessarily think of internal in Europe or internal in a specific European country, Spain, Italy, or whatever else, but internal also from the point of view of the management and of the governance, all the factors and all the elements that needs to be looked in a broad perspective, but also from local community and reception community perspective. So we have now this topic on socio-economic effects on migration and integration policies. And here the aim and the expected impact is really twofold. On the one hand, the assessment of integration policies. And for integration policies, we not only would like you to look at migration and classical integration policies as such, but also all the long list of social policies, fiscal policies, housing, health, education policies that can affect it, that do affect very much the integration outcomes. And on the other end, look at the socio-economic effects of migration, in particular in EU countries, but that said, also this topic that is a more classical topic on integration can be looked from a broader and comparative perspective with other dimensions. You must have noted that in this topic in particular, that is again a RIA, so a research action that will be funded in 2019, for which we expect to fund 3 projects of, in average, 3 million each. For this project in particular, for this topic, in particular, we do mention a whole set of disciplines that we expect to see in very much interdisciplinary projects that we hope to fund. This doesn't mean that for the other topic this is not the case, but we really wanted to make absolutely clear here once again that is a wide range of disciplines that we call at assessing the socio-economic effects on migration. We are not just talking to sociologists, we are not just talking to economists, we are not just talking to statisticians. On the contrary, we really ask you the effort of placing it in a much broader discipline-wide perspective. And these that we have mentioned, history, anthropology, cultural study, psychology, behavioral studies, they are just examples, we said, among others, because we really want you to be extremely creative and to call the attention of all the range of disciplines of the SSH to look at these issues that has been studied widely. We're perfectly aware of this, but we think that that the size of projects that we can fund now, 3 million, and the number of projects and the complementarity that can be established among 3 projects running at the same time on this issue can really bring about solid and very usable knowledge. And when I say usable, again, think of the European Commission obsession of the impact and of the impact on the political level. Topic number 5. As I always say by joking, we are not completely bad in math. We know that we are jumping on the 4. Those of you who have read the work program approved on the 27th of October know that topic number 4 will be out, but it will be out in 20. So the discussions with the program committee will start in 19. The new topics for 2020 will be out at the end of 2019, but you already see the titles and the provisional budget for the 4 topics that will be launched then. So you know, those of you who have read, and for the others it will be now, that we look carefully at cities, at integrations in cities. And here, once again, creativity and openness and looking beyond what is being done under other fundings, notably those of DG Region and the Urban Agenda, really giving the added value that our research community can give. So this is why I say it as a mean of disclaimer, this is why you don't see cities so much in focus in the cold migration until here. Not because we don't want you to invest in cities now. It's absolutely welcome whatever proposal that goes in that direction, but also be aware of the fact that in 20 there will be a specific focus on it. Topic number 5 is a topic with a very nice story. It comes out exactly as we said at the beginning of this session. We are really thankful to you for all the inputs, all the contribution, all the discussions, all the challenges that you brought up to us. And this comes from the results of an European conference that has been organized by DG RTD in cooperation with DG EAC at the end of last year. The conference Great Start in Life, looking at education in early years and all the childhood up until the 18 years of age of children and youth, where the panel on education for migrant children and refugees has been one of the most successful, and the workshop as well. And out of it came the request from the scholar and very much from the whole community that contributed to that conference and to the projects that were presented at the conference, that we would really need to invest more on this topic. And this is really where this comes from. Not only this, discussing with you, discussing with the practitioners, discussing with the researchers, discussing with the representatives of teacher trade unions that attended the conference and the several events that we organized to prepare the conference and to follow up the conference, we understood that research only would not be enough. This is why you see that for this topic, we try an experiment. We try to fund 2 projects only in 2018 with a budget of 3 million each, again, on average, and to save a reserve of budget for 2020, where we would like to proceed with funding an action that ideally comes from, takes up from the results of your research, the 2 projects that will be funded in 18, where we really encourage you to involve practitioners, to involve schools, to involve educators, to involve the training sector, to involve the NGOs and the civil society organizations and the trade unions and all the stakeholders that are contributing to face the challenge of integration in the educational system and into informal education overall for migrant children and refugee children and children with migrant background. So what you see here is an attempt to really produce an impact not only on what we've said until now, so my obsession of the political level, etc., but also very much on the practical level by using the opportunity of these 2 research actions to maybe pave the way for something more concrete, building on research findings in the future, in 20 in particular. Next topic is topic migration 6, and you see in the title, in the slide, that before the migration we have a DT. This means that we have flagged to the presidency of the Commission this topic as very likely to contribute to the digital agenda of the Commission. What does it mean for you in practical terms? In practical terms, it means nothing. You will still read the text, you will still build consortia, you will still present a project proposal, this time in 18 with a very high budget of 12 million. We are open to proposals of an average size budget of the ones that we have said before, but even higher and even much, much higher. and same thing for 2019. But since you know that we have put this flag, we have raised our hand to Mr. Jean-Claude Juncker and said, look, with this we really intend to contribute, with the results from this we really intend to contribute. Be wise, start from the impact and start from all the pieces of legislation, all the pieces of communication, all the various documents that go around the digital agenda, because here indeed the idea is to really go in the direction that the Commission wants to follow for its digital agenda and single market pillar. Therefore, not that you don't have to do it for all the other topics. Indeed, this is valid for all the other topics, but in particular, just an advice for all those topics that are flagged, digital transformations, or SU, meaning security union, be aware that we have raised our hand and put the flag. So the more the project have a structure and a methodology and an expected impact that challenges or that gives answer to, etc., 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 the two important policies of digital transformation and security union, the more the evaluators will consider that the expected impact is likely to be reached. Topic number 7 is a beautiful one and is a twin topic with the one that will follow. So topic 7 and topic 8 are a little bit like topic 1 and topic 2. They are launched in 2 different years. They look at things from different angles. They call in the front line different disciplines, but they are looking at the same thing. In this case, in particular, protection. So topic number 7, launched in 2019, is the topic that descends from the one that was open in 17 under the Engaging Globally call, looking at the Common European Asylum System. Here we aim at a broader view, so not only, but also Common European Asylum System, but in a broader perspective and in a wider panorama of other commitment, like the Compact on Asylum, but also like the level of compliance with Geneva Convention, and also comparison with other asylum and, in general, migration governance systems. Therefore, we have put in the text of this topic that whereas cooperation with third countries is not an essential for the eligibility of whatever project proposal that will be submitted, we really would like to encourage scholars to compare, to confront, to discuss with others that are facing same challenges, that are responding to very pressing issues. And we have mentioned 4 countries. We have mentioned Canada, Brazil, South Africa, Jordan, that are countries that either have changed their legislation very recently, like Brazil, or that are considered as examples, like Canada, or that are facing different problems and issues in applying their existing legislation, like Jordan, etc., etc. But you can take the invitation and go into other direction. Nothing prevents to compare with the new asylum system being launched in Iran, for instance. Just to make examples, we really invite you to look at this topic in its European dimension, but European in the sense Europe as a global actor, Europe in a global world, also from the point of view of the protection of asylum seekers and refugees. And this brings us directly to the next and last topic of the call, that is a topic that again looks at protection. But if the previous one, sorry, I get just 1 second back to topic number 7. If topic number 7 looks at it from a more legalistic perspective, indeed, by also opening to all the other range of disciplines that will bring us the historical perspective, the philosophical approaches, the socio-demo-ethno-anthropologic practices of how asylum systems not only are built in legal terms, but are then applied administratively in the different EU systems. The next topic brings us the look on the protection from the socio-economic and cultural perspective. So these two really look at the same issue from different angles, putting in some more challenges in topic number 8, but basically what we want is, again, this dialogue between system, if we get 1 second back to topic number 7, this dialogue between the systems, the common European asylum system or the global compact on refugees, etc., and then the practices at local level, the practices at administrative level. So this dialogue that we have said at the beginning, this attempt to really understand how migration governance at the end of the day is working, how it can be improved, how it can be streamlined, how it can be internationalized or not, harmonized or not, as my colleague Yuri likes saying, what level of harmonization is conducive, what level is not, what level of practices can be streamlined and harmonized, and where instead a greater level of flexibility at national and even subnational level is needed. So these are the huge challenges we ask you to look at in topic 7 and topic 8, being topic 8, where we go now, the last to be launched for 18 and 19, the only topic of this call where international cooperation is absolutely essential. If the project proposals that you are preparing will not bring in at least, but preferably more, an international partner, that will not be considered eligible by the evaluators. And this is the jargon INCO flagship. This is what it means, INCO flagship. It means that we have flagged this topic as contributing to strengthening relation with third countries. Therefore, at least I highlight this, one international partner is needed. As you see, we do expect to fund 3 projects of an average 3 million each. And we suggest some of the countries, but do not take it as an obligation. I just would like to explain for those who are not maybe very familiar with the new framework partnership agreements that the EU is signing with some countries of origin of migrants. Why did we put these areas of the world there, Middle East and Africa? We did so because of the same obsession we said before, because we really would like to challenge the political level. We would like to challenge the policy DGs, DG Home, DG DevCo, DG NEAR, that are the External Action Service, the Foreign Policy Instrument, etc., that are for the mandate dealing with the relations with third countries, and that are for this reason in cooperation with all the institutions preparing these documents that will pave the way for our cooperation also in the area of migration with third countries. Therefore, since they are working as a priority in the Middle East and Africa, we would really much like to have tools in our hands, research tools, research results, research findings, research-based ideas and proof or counter-proof to discuss with them. Therefore, we have put these countries as a priority, but please do not consider them as exclusive. If you have brilliant ideas on how to study forced displacement and its impact on local community and its impact on livelihoods of displaced people, protracted displaced people, on the level of protection, etc., looking at other countries, looking at Bangladesh, looking at Honduras or Nicaragua, you're very welcome. There is no restriction. It's just an invitation to support us in our dialogue with the policy DGs that are dealing with this new framework partnership agreement in this moment. Here, we really invite you not only at considering international cooperation in the sense of involving third countries, partners, but also at assessing international cooperation, international aid, the work of international agencies in protection, in addressing the challenges of forced displacement for, as said, livelihood communities and for displaced people as well. In unprepared and unprotected urban settings, you see that now cities are coming to the forefront. They are not in the title, and it is not the only setting where we would like to see the projects to go and look and study and analyze. But indeed, this is one of the major challenges when we talk about informal or even formal camps and settings. Therefore, we would like to see projects that also look at this dimension. And I forgot to say it for plenty of other topics, but indeed, the gender dimension and the consequences on the different group of the population of the different phenomena that you will study, they are extremely, extremely important. And with this, I conclude. I hope I haven't been too boring and too long, and I am very pleased to welcome any question that you might have. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Rafaela. I will check the questions we have now. We have a couple of hands on. Voy a intentar dar paso a las manos que tenemos alzadas. Ahora mismo veo 2 personas que tienen la mano alzada y una pregunta a través del chat. Voy a dar primero la entrada a la mano alzada, que es Rita Berger. Rita, ¿me puedes oír?
Sí, te puedo oír muy bien. ¿Y tú a mí?
Sí, por favor, tu pregunta.
Perfecto. Perfecto. In English better, no?
Okay.
Whatever you want.
Yes,
whatever you want.
Sorry, in English better.
Okay. Thank you very much for this nice presentation. I have some questions that have to do with Migration 06, addressing the challenges of migrant integration through ICT-enabled solutions. I have 3 questions. The first one, how many projects do you think you will be funded there?
Voy a dar primero paso a las manos.
Would you like to ask the 3 questions, or would you like me to answer one by one?
One by one, maybe. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So as said, no? Here we don't have put an indication exactly because it is open.
Okay.
So it's not a mistake. It's not that in the others there is, and here there is no because we forgot to put it. As you know, this is budget that comes from our colleagues in DG Connect. So, and sorry, maybe I forgot to highlight that here it is an innovation action. So we do really expect to see pilots and to see innovative solutions to be created. Therefore, they are really open to what the applicants would like to propose, including including one proposal by 12 million.
For example, a great training product, something like this, no? ICT training product.
Yes.
For example. Thank you. Second question. Here as well are welcomed third country cooperations, for example, including Canada or United States, or not?
Indeed. International cooperation is really welcome. You read it in the introduction of all the 3 calls. International cooperation is really welcome. What I would like to highlight, so that is very clear, is that the Commission, the regulation of Horizon 2020 foresees that some countries are automatically eligible for funding, that some others are never automatically eligible for funding, which means that if the partner is particularly relevant for the consortium, for the idea, for the carrying out of the project, the evaluators might suggest to the Commission to fund them. And the Commission might decide to endorse this suggestion. But this is really case by case up on the suggestions of the evaluators. Therefore, for all the partners that are not included in the list of the annex. I don't remember which one, I'm very sorry, but I can send it to you, included in the list of those that are automatically financial eligible for funding. All the others are absolutely welcome, but in principle, when you prepare your budget, you don't put them in EC contribution, you put it out.
Okay.
And then in the proposal, you explain that you would like the Commission to finance for this and this other reason, because the partner is absolutely essential for carrying out the project, etc. And the evaluators might consider it.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. The third question: is there a difference for the different countries? For example, a promoter or project coordinator from Spain is this the same as for example, a project coordinator from Germany? Because, for example, the situation in Germany is quite different from the situation in Spain. So this is a doubt I have.
I would like to ask this question to Rocio, because from my side, the answer is absolutely no. There are no differences. On the contrary, as you might have heard us speaking in other events, we try always to encourage countries that are less represented in terms of coordinators, etc., etc. But I would like to also pass the floor to Rocio, because if there are any that I don't know.
Thank you, Rafaela, for this difficult question. Okay, in my view,
Thank you very much.
Okay, in my view, every country or every partner, being coordinator or partner, will have to find their place into a consortium. So it will be wise to identify which partner is the best one to be a coordinator regarding their previous experiences, their role into a project, and then the proposal can be defined as this. So there is not a country which is the coordinator, like Germany or Spain is a better coordinator. It's the group which should be the decide on what kind of role they want to have. So because of previous experiences, because of the role of the project, but let's say it's not a decision because of the country, it's a decision because of the experience. This will be my reply. So thank you very much. I will pass to the questions we have in the chat. We have questions from two people. I will go, oh no, we have many more. We have new questions now. We have two questions for Marimar Ramis regarding two topics. The first one is regarding Migration 6. I'm going to read it as far as I have it here. The scope of the topic encompasses different realities, including different social groups and schooling phases from current migration cohorts.
Maybe it's topic 5. It's topic 5. Schooling.
Sorry.
5.
Sorry, then it's topic 5, so it's a mistake here.
Okay.
Okay. Because it's a very long question and they have parts copied here. Okay. Okay, the short question, because she made a couple of questions. Is it expected that teams put up large integrated proposals that cover all the different context group, or does the EC also foresee the funding of smaller projects taking some of the context groups? Thank you. Do you
so this is a question. Can I answer this one and then
yes,
you go
please.
ahead?
Yes.
So this is a question that has been asked many times. What Monica also answered during the info day on the 14th of November is the following. Indeed, we are aware that is a very dense as all the other topic. It's extremely dense. So indeed, we do not expect any proposal to be able to cover everything that is listed there. But what we do expect is a broad view on the 03 ESC standard definition, meaning 018 in focus. And then indeed we do understand that a consortium will focus more on one of the aspects or more on one of the age groups. But yes, we do expect it to be comprehensive, at least at an overall general level of the whole group 018. And this is why we put it clearly there, which does not mean that we expect the same level of analysis and depth for everything, but we expect that there is an understanding of the overall schooling period. Yes.
Thank you very much for the reply, Rafaela. We have another question from Nuria Claver Lopez. It has two different questions. It's the first one, could you repeat the name of the conference about education, which was the origin of topic 5? And regarding also topic 5, how important is international cooperation?
Okay. Thank you very much for asking for the conference, because it's really the right spirit to take it. Go and look at the proceedings of the conference. Go and look from where this came from. It's great start in life. It was held in Brussels on the 2nd and 3rd of December 2016. Great start in life. Indeed, this is a topic where international cooperation is not essential, but also indeed, as said by Monica during the info day of the 14th, it would be very interesting if a proposal would also include comparisons and view from other countries and experiences. But again, I repeat, it is not essential, it is not an eligibility criteria, it is not even encouraged in the text of the topic. Therefore, it doesn't mean that a proposal that would not include this component would be considered less valid at all. It is just as for all the topics in this call, highlighted that international cooperation is welcome, which doesn't mean at all that you have to take it as a prescriptive suggestion.
Thank you very much, Rafaela. We have a question now from Julia Melichova, which Julia, can you hear us?
I cannot hear.
No, not me. Because she raised her hand, but she has micro. I don't think she has the micro working. So maybe, Julia, if you want to make the question through the chat, or you can check your mic, because I don't think it's working. Okay, I'm gonna check the questions we already replied and the questions we already have. As far as I see, all the questions are already replied. We have only one raised hand, with it's Julia, but we cannot get her into the speakers. So I'm afraid if we are not able to connect, Julia, you can contact us directly through our email, which is sociedades.h2020@oficinaeuropea.es. Y si no hay más preguntas por vuestra parte, en principio voy a proceder para cerrar la sesión, no sin antes agradeceros a todos los asistentes por vuestra atención y el interés que mostráis y estáis mostrando por estas convocatorias, que de hecho son de muchísimo interés para toda Europa y para el futuro probablemente de la Unión Europea también. En cualquier caso, como sabéis, las presentaciones las tenéis subidas a la plataforma. Podéis descargar las presentaciones desde el mismo GoToWebinar. Si tuvierais con algún problema en la descarga, por favor, no dudéis en escribirnos de nuevo. Y como sabéis, en cualquier caso, seguimos los puntos nacionales de contacto a vuestra disposición para los meses que quedan por delante, para la preparación de las propuestas, que normalmente son los más duros. Así que, bueno, mucho ánimo os mandamos y, por supuesto, nuestro apoyo en el proceso. Y por último, ya me despido y aprovecho para agradecer la intervención que ha sido muy clara y muy interesante de Rafaela Greco Toneguchi, que es realmente la experta que tenemos en Digi Research sobre los temas. Ha sido una suerte poder contar hoy con ella y con su experiencia de primera mano durante todo el proceso de preparación de los topics y que tiene la capacidad de darnos un contexto mucho más amplio del que a veces somos capaces de extraer de un texto. Thank you very much, Rafaela, for being with us today. Y con esto me despido ya. No olvidéis, nuestra página web es horizonte2020.es, donde vamos publicando todas las actividades que vamos haciendo en los puntos nacionales de contacto y donde de nuevo podéis encontrar nuestros contactos, tanto email como teléfono, para seguir trabajando con vosotros y hacer unas propuestas excelentes, que es el objetivo. Muchas gracias a todos y hasta pronto.
Thank you very much, Rocío.
Thank you, Rafaela. Bye bye.
Bye.